Hey guys, what's up? Justine here, and today's video is all about the wonderful magical land of time management. It's actually a funny story. I was just filming another video, and at the end, when I asked you guys what kind of video you want to see, I kind of just said, maybe I should do a video about time management. 5 minutes later, here I am making a video about time management. So, as you can tell, it's a subject that definitely fascinates me. I've gotten really good at it. And I've actually been teaching a lot of externs and students, and I've been trying to get them on track with their time management. Some of them pick it up more easier than others, and so I figured why not give you guys those same tips about how to manage your time. So this video is going to be a bit all over the place because I literally just now came up with my points to talk about, so please bear with me. But all in all, just like sit back, relax, and just kind of listen to what I have to say. Listen to my 2 years of expertise knowledge, So the first thing that is super important is to plan your day. The minute you start getting report, the minute you start imagining what your patients are going to be like as you're getting a description of how their night was or whatever, prioritize who is your most important patient. Who do you want to go see first? Sometimes if all my patients are the same level of priority, I'll start at the closest room and make my way back. However, if I have a patient that is on an oxygen mask, IV fluids, a heparin drip, restraints, they're demented, and they're kind of like at danger, like they're restrained or they're at risk of climbing out of bed or anything like that, anything very acute, I will always start with them, because you know that they're going to take your most time and they are probably your most unstable. So you want to make sure that they're okay for you to go do your other things. When I start my shift, I have a few different ways I like to do things. So way number one, the classic one. I go in one at a time, I do my vital signs one at a time, I come back out, I'll give my medications, and then I'll do my assessments. That is very rare I do that. I usually prefer to do my assessment at the same time as I'm doing my vital signs. So I'll go in, I do my vitals, I introduce myself, I explain the plan for the day, whatever. I'll do my quick 5-minute head to toe, and then I have kind of an idea of what my patient looks like, and then I know what to look at when I'm giving my meds. For instance, if their blood sugar was low, if their blood pressure was low, if they're in pain, I know that I need to go get or not those medications, you know what I mean? However, if I haven't done a proper assessment, I just did my vitals, and if I do my meds in between both, and as I'm giving my meds, they say, oh, by the way, I'm in pain, can I get some Dilaudid? Then I have to go all the way back and get the Dilaudid and then come back. Whereas had I done it while I was doing my assessment, I would have already been out of the room and not have to come in 3 times instead of 2. So that's little things like that. Also, when I talk about planning your day, is if you have diabetic patients, start with them, because I always do my blood sugars at the same time as I'm doing my vitals. So if the breakfast trays come at 8 o'clock and I'm starting my day at 7:45, I want to make sure I get their sugars done before breakfast comes, and sometimes one single patient can take me up to 15 minutes, so I want to start with my diabetic patients so that I make sure I get an accurate blood sugar reading. So that's all about planning your day. Another way that I like to start my day, now this is not, I don't do this if it's my first day with these people. If it's my 3rd, 4th day, I know them, they're stable enough, what I'll do is I'll go in with their meds while I do their vitals. So I'll go in, I already have my medications, I'm doing their vital signs, my little assessment, if everything's good, here are your medications, go back out, move on to the next. That way I don't have to go in and out and in and out. And they prefer it that way because they're not bothered as much. But that is only if I know them and they're stable and nothing's changed in their status and their assessment is quote-unquote normal. Next thing I like to do to save time is prep my IV meds. I like to get to work quite early-ish, not so much anymore, bad me, but usually I do. And so sometimes I'm done getting report and some people are just starting. So in my mind, it's not because I got report that I have to go see them right away, because some people are still getting reports. So I like to take the extra 5 minutes. It's all it takes is just 5 minutes. Look at all my medication sheets. We have little IV med like stickers. I bring one of those, I look through my med sheets, I'll write down all my IV meds, and then I'll prep them. And if they need to be left in the fridge because they're going to be given later, I'll leave them in the fridge. If they need to be given, say, at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, I'll bring them with me. That way, I don't have to be, I go to see my patient, do my vitals, give my meds, have to go back, prep my med, come back. Like, that's just wasting so much time. So I like to have it with me as I'm doing my vitals, I'm giving out, I'm doing my assessment. Here's your Lasix, thank you, goodbye, and then that's done. I don't have to go back and forth so many times. As well as if I have a medication due at 11 o'clock and I'm super busy, my medication is already prepped. I don't have to think about it. If anything, if I'm super busy, I can ask someone, hey, do you mind hanging this for me? It's already in the med card. All you have to do is hang it. So in that way, that I absolutely love to do, I always tell students and externs to do that as well. Next, as I've kind of mentioned throughout this beginning of the video, is to group all your activities together. Do your vitals, your blood sugar, blah, 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 all at once. If you're doing, say, and now I have to come up with examples. I'm really bad at coming with examples on the spot. But say you're doing, I don't know, I have to do a dressing and I have to give heparin, or I have to change my IV bag. I don't know. Do them at the same time. Say if I know I have to change my IV bag at 2 o'clock because I timed it that way, then I'll try to figure out a way to arrange my schedule so I can do my dressing at the same time, so I can do, you know, I don't have to bother the patient twice, and I just have to go in that room one specific time. So that is, I mean, I'm sure you guys will come up with other examples of this, but basically just group all your activities together so that you don't have to go in and out a million zillion times. Next is something that I've learned that is so crucial, and that is to anticipate inconveniences. Guys, the number of times I will walk into a TB room or a C. diff or an isolation room and there's no mother fricking temperature probes, and I have to, oh, the TB room, that just gets me. I'm in the TB room, I'm all gowned up, and then I see that there's no temperature probes, and I'm so tempted to take their temperature without the probes, and I'm like, no, that is the biggest no-no. You do not do that. Just gather yourself, go out, get your temperature probes, and come back in. But things like that. So I've learned to always carry a box of temperature probes with me in case the room doesn't have any. And it's not very big, you know, it's this big. You just put it on your side pocket, and if anything, I just use my own box whenever I'm taking a temperature. Or, like I said, if ever I see the room, I use the last one, then I'll just swap that one out for that one. Another thing that is very important to know is that charting is not the most important thing. Yes, charting is important, because as they say, if it wasn't charted, it wasn't done. But if you are busy with your patients, don't put that aside to go chart. There's something called a late entry note, guys, and I've done it a million times. If it's 11 o'clock, I've had a hectic ass day and I'm only now sitting down to chart, you just write late entry note, receive patient at 3:30, blah, blah, blah. At 5 o'clock, patient doing this. At 7 o'clock, patient doing this. At 9 o'clock, this. And now at 11 o'clock, sleeping, blah, blah, blah. Everything's there. You just didn't write it at the time that it happened, but you wrote at what time it did happen. I prefer to be at my septic patient's bedside, actually taking care of them, than to be charting about them being septic. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, I've seen students sometimes charting at 4 o'clock. I'm like, what are you doing? Why? Oh, well, I'm just saying, charting that I received them in their bed. No! Go prep your meds. Go do your blood sugars. Go do your assessments. Charting is not your priority. And a lot of schools, McGill, will teach you that charting is the most important thing when it is so not. It is so not the most important. So definitely, I mean, obviously don't try to chart at 11 o'clock every day. But say I'm doing an evening shift, I try to aim for like 6 o'clock. Which is, I have 3 hours to do all my things. It's usually about a good amount of time. Sometimes if I have a really easy load and I know them really well, I'll be charting by 4:30. That's like an exceptionally awesome day. But like I said, I've caught myself charting at 11 o'clock, and that's okay. You are a nurse, you're taking care of your patients, and that's what should come first, not charting. So that's pretty much all I have in terms of time management. It's definitely a skill that you learn as you become a more experienced nurse. And like I said, people work in different ways. Something works differently for everyone. You'll find what works for you. You'll find a schedule that works for you and something that you can just respect and that works for you and for your patients. And what works for you might not work for someone else. So if you're being taught and you're being given suggestions by nurses, kind of take little pieces from everywhere and kind of make your schedule and what works for you. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this time management video. I'm sure I'm gonna like finish filming this and then think, oh my god, I should have said this, I should have said this. But if any of you guys have any other tips and tricks, leave them down below. You're always helping out fellow nurses, and I like reading them too because we're always learning as adults, nurses, people, human beings. We're always learning, and it's so important to take from others and to teach as well. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.